Hello, everyone, and welcome to a video where I dunk on like some like Romani dipshit, I guess, because apparently that's what I'm left with right now. I don't know why. I'm not really left with this, but that's just what I'm choosing. Like this is what's in my feed, right? Um, yeah. So now I don't really see too much problem with like the guy's like thing here as like the factuality of like there is no good anti-woke content. I won't say there is no such thing as anti-woke content. There is no such thing as good anti-woke content. There's a such thing as bad woke content and good woke content. We'll get that to that in a second. But there's no such thing as good anti-woke content. But the reason why is because anti-woke content is created with the mindset of like being a reactionary bullshit, right? You can't have a good story without like an actual point you want to get across yourself, and that's why like reactionary content tends to fail in the first place. It just isn't good content because the mindset behind it doesn't want to create anything, which is also why a lot of like the really far like the Dustborns and Concords fail with like their wokeness too. Their reactionary wokeness, like God of War Ragnarok sold hotcakes, but this like thing sold like zero, right? And it's because it's a reactionary product, right? This is a reaction to something rather than creating it to be meaningful, right? It's also why like Nimona outsold like a lot of Disney films and won awards in the same year Lightyear came out, despite being far gayer and having an actual trans character be the main character of the movie, right? And that's it, where instead of like a background character that only has one little smooch. And I think like that's a bad criticism of the movie, especially since the movie has far better reasons to criticize it, right? But the movie isn't good. Like it's not like horrendous. Like a kid could watch it just fine. The idea that it's bad for kids, like it's a kids scene. Who the fuck cares? But it's definitely a bad like movie. Like compared to like especially what I thought, because remember I grew up with like Star Command. We had a good Lightyear movie. It was called Buzz Lightyear and Star Command, the TV show, right? Um, but I digress. Right now, this guy's going to talk about like the Ultimate Freyna trailer, and you notice he'll use trailer footage because he doesn't play the game, which I'm going to give the ultimate own to him in a second after we get to that part. But you'll see what I mean by that.
Do you remember when this character came out? Are you even aware that it came out? Yeah, apparently it's on Overwatch.
Oh
And
yeah,
there,
that's the other thing. Like no one really cares about Concord, so like why are we talking about it all the time in the sphere? Like it's like a game that was never even really like marketed failed. Like yes, that's what happens when you have a multi-million-dollar game, and none of those $100 million are spent on advertisements. That's like legitimately what happens. If you don't market your game and you're not like a small indie game, you actually fail 100% of the time. Like you just need to do something, right? Like that's why what is it? Sound of Freedom isn't even a good movie, but it was very good in sales, right? Because it had that very viral marketing campaign where you bought tickets for a friend and stuff. Now, I don't think the movie like the message of the movie was bad. I think like it's just very horribly written. I mean, like the guy's like action movie one liner is calling the action hero of the movie himself, calling himself that. He's calling himself a pedophile. Um, yeah, like imagine if Bruce Willis's catchphrase in Die Hard was "I'm a schizophrenic retard," right? You would immediately hate the movie and fucking log off, right? You would fucking leave the theater immediately. And like now, and like that's like towards like the end of the movie, obviously, so they'd have already gotten their ticket, and you wouldn't really get a refund at that point. But everyone would have hated Die Hard from the beginning if that was what he said instead of "Yippee ki yay, motherfucker!" Right? Like we can, like I'm pretty sure we can agree. If the action movie hero, like their one-liner is some goofy shit like that, um, that you don't like it because you're supposed to be the hero, right? And also, to be fair, like half the point is problem really was that it's an action movie, and like there's not even really action in it because it's just a guy being more of a detective finding pedophiles and getting them arrested. Like it's not a bad message, obviously. It's a decent message, but you need more than a message to sell me. Like Sound of Freedom is really proof that virtue signaling doesn't work both ways when it comes to quality. It can work for sales sometimes, like where obviously um, that in like any name a fucking Christian movie like these days, like anything like that has like that hallmark type of Christian movie, like God's Not Dead or Courageous, right? Like they lure their audience in, but all those films are shit, right? Now, I'm saying not all Christian movies. I should say like this specific genre, right? Like the hallmark Christian genre, right? Um, like there's some like exorcism movies that are bangers and like all that, right? There's some good horror movies as well. But then you have like God's Not Dead, and I'm like, dog, just get the fuck out of here. Like this movie sucks at balls. No one even talks like that outside of Reddit. Like you're putting a Reddit atheist in a college setting and telling me that's realistic. That dude would never go outside if that's how he talked. You know, and he also doesn't ever tip a fedora and go "milady." Like that. Well, like he does everything else besides do that a Reddit atheist would do. Let's face it, that movie's dog shit. But it's not dog shit because it spreads Christian values. Like Prince of Egypt did that. So did the Ten Commandments and so many classic, Christian movies, right? Of like my time. It's just some of these movies are just dog shit.
There was a massive push in the press and in the media to talk about this character because it's the first time ever we get to see a non-binary character in Overwatch.
Not really. Overwatch. Well, if it's in Overwatch, I'm pretty sure they're talking about it. But also like I'm pretty sure there would have been at least one before then, considering like how many fucking robots there are. Like I'm pretty sure there's at least one of them robot. Like maybe they're talking about like organic, in which case like there would usually be a reason for the binary. To be fair, another reason why I find it funny that like Conquered has like a lot of the non-binary characters is like they have like I think the mushroom isn't one of them, and mushrooms are literally a non-binary species. Like that actually is like a trait of them. Like they're a hive mind that of like multiple organisms. So a mushroom person being non-binary would literally just be like biology at that point, right? Like because they've got thousands of different sexes in a colony that all function as a hive mind, right? And they'd also probably like use a lot of we and stuff too, because like sort of like how Venom uses we are Venom, right? Like this is the other thing. Like they have a character like that, and if I recall correctly, they don't play into that trope. That's the worst part. They actually have an excuse to have a non-binary character, without any like politics in it at all. Although I don't think like you necessarily need to excuse that necessarily. As in like you can have that in there without an excuse, but like you should use like when you have good material for it, you should use it. You know what I mean? Like fucking mushroom guy. He's not the non-binary character, and he doesn't do like the we are whatever thing, that a hive mind should be able to do and get away with, right? It's just a thing.
And all the journalists are applauding, and everyone is celebrating, and everyone is happy and excited. It's like, oh my god, oh, this.
I have everyone's talking about it, which is why I've never seen it. To be fair, journalists like he probably means like the Kotaku people, which is basically his sphere of journalism. Like it's the reactionary left versus the reactionary right. Like both his channel and Kotaku are both equally dog shit. Kotaku's been around a lot longer, as we know. Like Total Biscuit dunked on them in 2011, I think it was. Yeah, I have that video where I'm like side scrollers in Kotaku are gay and Alyssa Mercante are gay married, right? And like the entire joke of that is that like Kotaku was already known to be a piece of shit back then by everyone, and the reason why Gawker started going out of business, because he originally owned by Gawker, right, is because people just shut the fuck up about him, right? And that's the real reason why we still deal with Kotaku today, is because retards like this guy continue to talk about them as if they are a valid like journalist group, and now they've expanded into actual journalism like IGN and stuff, which would have never happened 10 years ago, right? And it's because these guys don't shut the fuck up. It's a reactionary like nerd bait thing. The whole point is to get you mad and give them a reaction. That's how they make their money. And you're playing into them whenever you do this, right? Like don't react to like you can react to like actual like content in games and stuff, but when you react to a Kotaku cuck, you basically give them money. Don't. Yeah, like I don't like Kotaku. That's why I don't talk about them, because I know.
But what's
like,
interesting is that I don't.
It's sort of like racism with Morgan Freeman, right? Don't talk about it; it'll go away. Now, real world racism unfortunately doesn't work like that, but internet racism does. Most internet racists are trolls. You shut the fuck up, they go away. They go piss off someone else because, you know, like, you're no longer worth their time. You're not reacting to them. You're not giving them what they want, and they can get what they want easier from someone else.
See a lot of people identifying with this character. I don't see people using this character as their avatar. I don't see merchandise. I don't see fan art. I don't see...
I mean, I don't, like, I mean... I don't really see, like, a problem. Like, the character looks fine to me. Honestly, really, like, when you think of, like, non-binary goofballs, this, like, looks like a normal person. It's sort of like Sonic Fox. Like, the dude looks like a normal person, right? You know, so, like, usually, like, you think of it, and then it's, like, you know, there's no blue hair dye or anything. It's just, like, a person in a costume. Or, in this case, just, like, a person in a trench coat. Like, I don't really... Like, I guess there's nothing really, like, to define them as non-binary, but, like, I don't really see a problem with this design at all. Like, it looks fine.
See a community building around it, but I do see the jump...
Community building? What? Like, you're telling me, like, you want, like, a massive community on one character. Like... Dog, like, this isn't like Nico Robin, like, you know, like, where there's like a zillion fans of just one character, because the show's so massive, they kind of have like sub fandoms within it. Like, this isn't that big of a game.
Oh, it's go like, so amazing.
And for those who are wondering, the reason why Overwatch has, like, not Overwatch, One Piece has that, is it's been around for, like, older, like about my age is how old One Piece is, and I'm 30. So it's been, like, nearly 30 years since it came out. Yeah, when you have that, it's sort of like with the comics. Like, you had, like, Superman and Batman, but now, like, you have, like, people who are fans of, like, the Joker, and, like, exclusively the Joker. Like, they don't really care about Bruce Wayne. It's just the Joker, baby, right? Like... That wouldn't have happened, like, you know, like 70 years ago, right? In the 50s, right? No one would have fucking been like, I'm just a Joker fan back in the day, right? But, like, ever since, like, the 80s, there have been plenty of just a Joker fans, right? And that's kind of the thing, right? Like, you need time to have, like, a fan base dedicated around a single character, unless they're furries for some reason. I don't know why, but like, you know, anytime there's any furry bait, there are instantly a million zillion furry porn pictures of it. But I digress.
Zing, ah! And then you look at the competition.
Oh yeah, this is the thing. So he's using Ultimate Freyna's trailer, right? Which also isn't how Freyna normally looks in the game. And also like what she's saying, like that she's hot, like yeah, we know. She's also less hot than you know, like what's her name? Like Wisp in Warframe, right? You know, she's less hot than Wisp in Warframe when you think about it. Because her ass in thighs are smaller. I like, you know, if you look at Wisp and you look at Freyna, Ultimate Freyna, or Ult Money, or any of the ult skins in this game, there's a clear like 2 to 3 inch difference in waist thickness compared to Wisp, right? Like Wisp is at least 3 inches like wider. It's fucking like, you know, like hilarious how like thick Wisp is. Like that's literally like the meme is like swig swooty, look at that pooty, and it's just Wisp. Like just shaking her ass on the screen. But like yeah, that fucking ghost bitch is, you know, she's got very powerful thighs. You know, she can end lives with her thighs, but she also has the power of the sun, which is apparently her weakest ability for some fucking reason too. Like, it's just like her fat ass is more like of a superpower than her literal opening a portal to the sun and shooting like a Kamehameha wave of solar energy at a person's face. It's fucking easy as fuck to like to describe that, but yeah, that's Wisp, baby. You know, she has no sense, all thighs. Yeah. And it's not like Freyna isn't hot, but like, you know, yeah. Now Freyna like traditionally like is more clothed and stuff than this, obviously. Like the way they do the ult skins is literally like they just take the clothes off. So like I think they do it with the males too, right? Like everyone is just like it's like a He-Man or She-Ra transformation where like they have all these clothes on in their normal skin, and then their like ult skin is just like, how do we like make this BDSM like outfit on them? And that's what they do, right? They just like take the exact same character but put them in like a fucking like tight leather that barely covers their torso, and you know, some fishnets and shit, right? It's definitely hot, right? But like, you know, there's more reasons to play this game than Ult Freyna is hot. Honestly, there's more reasons to play Ult Freyna than she's hot. I'd say her being hot is probably like the weakest reason to play her, especially considering there's so many other hotter characters in the game. In fact, I'd say regular Freyna is hotter because she's got that like, you know, she's got that like dommy mommy haircut. This one looks like she's like gonna just like suck my dick. The one like that's like the normal Freyna in the game like looks like she's gonna step on you and then fucking like and then like fucking like, you know, like start biting at your neck and shit, inject her little toxin little things on her arms a bit to like get you high, and then start sucking your dick. You know, there's a difference, right? This bitch looks far less sexy, honestly, to me than like the regular Freyna, which isn't a problem because they both look hot. Like if we're gonna view it as like they're hot, like they're still both hot. But I'd rather have like goth mommy milkers, you know. Plus she's easier to farm, which makes it easier for me to like justify playing her. But yeah, obviously I tend to play Ult Bunny and Enzo because they're just like pretty good at what they do. And also like, you know, I just got Clay and Kyle, so I like have to, you know, I have to like adjust like you know, I can't just actually like start with a meta build for them.
How long did it take? 12 seconds. 12 seconds, and the comment sections are filled with people going, where's my wallet?
And what's funny is the game is actually not doing that well. Like it's doing fine, but like compared to like Warframe, right? It has half the players. despite like having massive launch, it kind of like went downhill quick. I expected to eventually pick up more steam, but yeah, like this trailer didn't actually sell like as many copies as this guy would like you to believe.
Where's my? I did it now. I did my credit card. What game is this? I want to see. There's no controversy regarding this character. There's no people suggesting that maybe you should make this character different. No, 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 no. It's just like people. What game is this? I did it for research. Meanwhile, in Western AAA games, this is what we get. And
Uh, well, first off, First Descendant isn't a AAA game. There's your first little problem there. First Descendant is a AA game, which, like Warframe, which is a Western AA game, is full of gooner stuff. Because as it turns out, sex sells, but like when you are under the the powerful fist of Mastercard, you can't really do that anymore, unfortunately. Which is why all the sexy women games are AA or indie, and then all the like more simplified or like stylized or whatever women games, right, where like they look like this or like ugly or old or whatever, are like AAA games, and that's because it's actually Mastercard that's doing most of this. Like they'll like this guy will try to like say Sweet Baby Ink, even though Sweet Baby Ink only worked on 12 fucking games or some shit like that, and like one of them had hot women in it. I mean, God of War Ragnarok, baby. Half the chicks in that are adults are hot. Just saying, and by half I mean all of them. But like we're gonna pretend it's only half, right? All the women in that game are hot, right? There's some girls that like, hey, look, they're they're like 17, right? I'm not really going into them anyway, right? Like so hey, look. The girls are like less hot, but like I'm not supposed to find them hot, so it's fine, Like I'm not saying like lolly shit is bad. I'm just saying like if it's like a literal child, I don't really care if it's sexual or not, because it's a fucking video game anyway, right? But it makes it easier to be like, hey, look, I'm not going into that, but it's also like literally a fucking kid, Like, it's the same thing with, like, Atreus. Like, I'm not gooning to Atreus. I might goon to fucking Kratos, so that guy is fucking hot as fuck, honestly. He's got that dad bod now, too. He's got a little, like, bit of a belly. Just a little bit, though, so he's still got the abs underneath showing. But, like, he's a little bit more of a gut than, like, he has in, like, the old games. I love that fucking kind of, like, build on a guy where it's, like, just a subtle bit of gut. So, like, it's, like, he's got that... I think it's called like a muscle gut, right? Like it's a little gut, but like you can tell like he's a fucking mountain underneath it. It's similar to Thor, but Thor has a massive gut. So it's like you can tell he's built as shit, but it's more like from the upper and lower body. You can't really tell from the abdomen itself. Like if you saw that on like any drunkard, right? Because Thor is a drunkard in the game. You would assume like basically the same fucking thing, right? If it's Thor, or if it's like your drunk ass stepdad, like you assume the exact same like thing, and the stepdad ain't that strong, right? He's not exactly weak when you're like a kid, but like he ain't that strong. You could probably take him on now that you're 30, like me.
And this is what we got for the last 2 years or so.
Yeah. Also, always bring up like single screenshots from games. This is also always a good sign, because like Mortal Kombat 1, this character that appears as like a what if version of like 3 different characters combined in like the Combine-O-Verse version thing that they do only at the end of the game, doesn't look that great. I will give you that, but also like this isn't like a legitimate character in the game. It's like kind of like auto-generated bullshit. So yes, the thing that was randomly generated looks randomly generated.
And every single time one of these...
Then, like, normally, like, like I would see this in... Also, like, she's not really ugly either. She just doesn't look as hot, I guess, is a good way to say it. Like, she's not ugly. Like, I've seen plenty of women look like this. It's more like an 8.5, right? like it's not a 10, but like it's an 8.5, right? Like, like he's acting like it's a toe. It's an 8.5,
These characters come out, all the journalists and people with various flags.
And this is, of course, like, anyone who's actually watched, like, played a game with a character creator has done this. Like, I don't really see, like, what the problem here is. Like, other than the fact that that's what they're advertising, I guess. But that's literally what everyone does in these, is make the most disgusting monstrosity you can. And then, some of us even play as that because it's funny as fuck. And we don't really take the game seriously, like, sometimes. So, like, we're just like, hey, look, give me, like, Henry Cavill with boobs, which is what this guy looks like, right? Hey, look, that's kind of funny, right? Like, give me, like, like, tribal Henry Cavill with boobs and horns. That's what this looks like, Is it, like, a good, like game? I don't fucking know. It's not out yet. Like, hey, look, I will be doing shit in any character creator that lets me do that kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's a good, like, it shouldn't be marketed, right? But like any character creator that you can't do that, in my opinion, is a bad character creator. Because, like, my thing is, like, a character creator, you should be allowed to do goofy ass shit like this,
Is it paraphernalia in their bio? They're like, look at the character editor! So amazing! Look at it! Oh my god! Oh!
Like, this guy would fucking, like, shit himself if he saw all the amazing, like discourse on this Soul Calibur 6 character creator, where, like, literally half the people who played the game made horsecock characters. Like, my guy, you are not a gamer if you don't think designing, like, some monstrosity in the character creator or, like, some fucking gay furry porn shit is not what most people do. 90% of people who play games like this shit, It's like, hey, look, we're having fun in the character creator before we even open up the game. Because this isn't really part of the game, really, when it comes down to it. It's like, hey, look, you got to go through this to get to the game. And so, like, we'll just be like, hey, look, you gave him, like, a fucking dick nose and, like, fucking, like, Joe Rogan nipples right there. Like, look at those Joe Rogan nipples.
Oh, it's so cool! It's so awesome! And if you dare criticize the character, they're like, oh, you are a gooner! Ah, you're the gooner! Oh, why are you gooning? Oh, you want to goon? I want to prevent you from gooning! I am going to turn you to Jesus Christ and the LGBT community! No gooners! No, no, no! Art is sacred! If you want violence, we have violence! If you want...
Man, this guy, like, I love how he sounds like a discount Nux Taku, who sounds like that sound like Freddy Krueger makes on the shittiest movie when, like, Spencer gets his ear, hearing aids taken out by him, and then he gives him, like, a super hearing aid with, like, his magic dream powers. And, like, right before, like, and then his head explodes because of how bad the sound is. That's what this guy sounds worse than, right? He sounds like a discount, like, version of Nux Taku. It's fucking disgusting how obnoxious this guy's voice sounds, to be fair. Like, honestly, like, I need to have an AI filter on this fucking guy if I'm gonna watch him again. Because, like, this is literally, like, sorry for your eardrums. This is so fucking disgusting, I'm sure. Like, you guys are probably, like, listening to this and thinking, why are you torturing me with this fucking degenerate fucking guy that looks like he's, like, I guess, a troll from World of Warcraft. Yeah, I guess he's not hiding that he's, like, full of shit. But, yeah, like...
On sexiness, no gooner, no gooner. And it's to the point that every single female character needs to look like this in order to prevent the evil.
I mean, honestly, I just think that's funny as fuck. Like, this isn't even, like, a, like, ugly woman, like, that you would see, like, normally. This is literally, like, let's make, like, a joke out of, like, the character design. Like, I don't even think, like, this is literally bad. Like, I think this is just, like, some artist made a joke, and then, like, they found out that their deadline was up, and they had to put something in the game, and that was what they had. Honestly, I think this is just the artist having fun because, like, first off, like, yeah, they look nothing alike. Like, there's nothing around here, right? Like, usually, like, there would be something to, like, kind of hint at what they were starting at from reference with. This looks absolutely nothing like this one. This is called "The Artist Had Too Much Fun," and they wasted too much time having fun, and there wasn't enough time to make the actual model for the game. Which normally I would commend, but this is like, Ubisoft, so I don't fucking like it anyway, because Ubisoft is a company filled with rapists.
Evil gooner.
Like, everyone's like, wow, DEI and shit. Like, Ubisoft fucking rape people. What the fuck? Like, why would I fucking care about, like, any of the other bullshit? Like, they're rapists. Fuck off. Like, I got legit criticisms to hate Ubisoft for that, and the fact they haven't made a fucking good game since Black Flag, and then they literally stole from PC players every Assassin's Creed game up to and including Black Flag. So, it's like, they're like, this guy will be like, Assassin's Creed Shadows sucks because Black Samurai, and I'll be like, no, it sucks because if it was a good game, they would steal it from you, like they have done in the past. With all
Everything in the video game community is centered around the gooner. Oh, the male gaze. Because if it permeates into our society, we will never be safe again.
But yeah, it's also like MasterCard is very anti-porn, and like they're the ones who like are in charge of like everyone's funding, which is why like so many porn sites get shut down. Why like so many social media sites like Twitter, which are literally just for porn, end up having to have every single artist leave for Blue Sky now. Like, literally, like I'm gonna be honest. This guy's gonna have to move to Blue Sky soon because all the hot anime and furry artists that he jacks off to are gonna leave because of Elon's bullshit, and he's gonna have to go there to jack off now, right? Because it won't be on Twitter anymore. Which, to be fair, like, I mean, the fact that that's what Elon inevitably does that'll probably kill the platform is honestly the funniest fucking thing in my life, Like, hey, everyone was joking about him killing the platform quickly, like, just shutting off overnight, and then he didn't do that. Then he, like, kind of, like, made the site worse in many ways, that just really sucked ass, and that somehow didn't kill the site because the community's so toxic we don't care. But then he like got rid of the ability to actually block anyone. And yeah, a lot of artists, like good artists, are just leaving. And also Blue Sky just got the video feature that they've been asking for. So, there's a lot of artists who moved exclusively for that as well. Because that was like one of the reasons they weren't using Blue Sky, for those that are wondering. So yeah, a lot of people are just leaving to Blue Sky. So yeah.
So why is it though, right? Like why do they make these designs?
And what's funny is if he doesn't migrate to Blue Sky, he's just going to be left with the cesspit, where it slowly becomes like just Nazi forums. Like Nazi forums is in like actual Nazi forums, right? I don't think this guy is Nazi. I think he's like right wing, but like Nazis are different, right? Like when like every like other fucking post is like the Confucius philosophy guy, like the guy who's like, we owe Hitler an apology, that asshole, that gets banned every 2 days anyway. Like this guy literally is ban evading like hundreds of times by Elon. Like Elon has personally banned this dude hundreds of times, and he still gets new accounts. And like does the same bullshit. I don't fucking get like how Elon doesn't see that's a problem with like advertisement, But yeah, he's gonna end up losing money because like he's ended up like going a little too far on the bullshit. Like like he censors a lot of more left wing like ideas now. And then he like literally like allows people to just be promoted like full on Nazis like on their timeline. And like the real issue, I'm just gonna say this, is it used to be a lot of that shit was always on there, right? But you would just be able to hit the not interested button on their account, and you wouldn't have to block them. They would just not show up ever unless like one of your followers forgot to hit the not interested button as well, right? And like that's how you dealt with that, right? After like a few like months of Elon owning it, that didn't work anymore. You know, the not interested in this content or this creator feature stopped working on the platform. And that's kind of cancerous in my opinion, because that's literally how most people stayed sane on the platform, right? You would just go to like all Pokemon memes and shit, right? And now you can't, right? And it's like literally like it's not like people like censor, like you're not censoring anyone, you're not silencing anyone, you're just not listening to them, right? Like freedom of speech isn't listen to me, motherfucker, while shouting in their ear. Freedom of speech is, hey, look, if you want to talk, you can talk, but I also have the ability to leave. You know, like it's street preachers, not like you know, like hold a gun to your head and preach to you and say you deserve the right to like say this. You know, like there's differences, right? Like if you can leave, then it's freedom of speech, because leaving is part of speech as well. Like leaving the conversation is part of free speech. You know, which is why harassment is still a crime in the United States. Because as it turns out, if you follow someone who clearly doesn't want you to talk to them, yeah, that's a problem. Like, just leave people alone. You know, when they clearly don't want to talk, just leave them the fuck alone. If they're not committing a crime or anything like that, you know, like unless it's an Alex Rosen video, if you're harassing someone, just shut the fuck up and leave them alone. You know, like it's just how it goes. You know. Eventually, like, you might, like, find out the meaning of that Mike Tyson quote, because Twitter has made a lot of people forget the meaning of that Mike Tyson quote. I will say that.
And why do they make other decisions that are also mentally deficient? It's due to the ideology. You have the ideologues, and for the lack of a better term, people call them woke, but they are the ones that are pushing the mental insanity. And their mental insanity is like this, okay? People don't like rotten apples, but rotten apples are apples as well. So rotten apples need to feel included. And if we put pictures of rotten apples everywhere, and everywhere they look, people see rotten apples, people are going to appreciate rotten apples just like they're appreciating normal apples.
Okay, actually, that's a funny analogy, but the problem is that's actually not how that analogy goes. See, like with that, what that would do is, because the thing is, you know, rotten apples spoil the bunch, right? Just a few rotten apples spoils the bunch. The problem with that analogy, is that would be like saying a few ugly characters in games would spoil, like, First Descendant and Stellar Blade too, right? Like, that would mean that this chick being ugly would immediately make Heave ugly. That's where your logic leads, just so you know. If you do a spoiled apples thing, that's what spoiled apples, like, ruining the bunch means, right? Like, it would mean that all games were negatively affected by this one character's existence, because this one rotten apple would be enough to spoil the whole bunch. That's how that works.
Does this make sense?
Learn analogies, my guy.
Is it mental retardation? Now, it's coming from the academia. And instead of those professors getting fired and mocked and ridiculed, they still have positions. They have tenure.
This idea that it's coming from academia, right? Like, I've been to college, so I know how dog shit some professors are. But, like, I think, like, he's thinking, like, he's gonna say, like, something like gender studies or some bullshit, right? Those are what's known as extracurricular activities. Right? The bad professors are people who are, like, in, like, math and computer science classes that don't fucking teach you any of the fucking shit you're supposed to know. Like, and then they'll, like pile, like, fucking mountains of homework on you on the things they didn't teach you how to do and expect you to learn it with, like, oh, well, if you don't. And so, like, unless you go online or, like, ask AI specifically to teach you instead of, like, just have it instruct you on how to solve the problem, but actually have it teach you the methodology behind the math, you don't learn anything. And that's, like, really, like, legit what a bad college professor is. It's not what he's thinking. There are plenty of them, but it's the ones that don't teach you what they're supposed to teach you, and then get mad that you didn't learn. And you're paying them, right? Like honestly, like these college professors, I think legit should be fired. Not the ones he's talking about. Like they're like, look, these are elective classes. You can skip them, and they're like for every degree you have like these options, like chemistry. If you're going for chemistry, like you might have like like one on like history that you have to take, right? And then you can also do like gender studies instead of history, right? And really, what it comes down to is like gender studies is just easy as fuck class to do, and history, like the history is one of those pile on homework on you classes, a lot of the time, and so people don't want to have like a mountain of homework from their actual like major, and a mountain of homework from like their elective, so they choose the easier elective that they can just pass, and actually work on the stuff they want to learn. That's like what it really comes down to. And unfortunately, it's really just the teachers in like the legit major classes tend to suck, but they don't tend to suck for the same reasons he thinks. They tend to suck because they're just bad at teaching. And like they force a very strict curriculum where and like the thing is, like, you're paying so much money, you don't really have the option to fail these classes.
They're the ones that just secreted this excrement into the wild, and for some reason, companies have been pressured in order to accept it. Because
what, like people who got degrees, or people who did a lot of work that really wasn't actually necessary to learn anything, because the teachers didn't want to teach them. Like I'm like, because like when you actually have been to a college and know like what the problem is, you understand that none of the shit he's saying is the problem, but there are far worse issues at hand, but he will never comprehend them because he's never been to one, right? I dropped out of college because of how shit it was. So I actually know why it's shit, unlike this asshole who's probably never even been to high school. Like he sounds like a guy who bitches about pronouns because he actually failed first grade English and doesn't even know what the fuck they are. He's like, what's this concept of, like nouns that are better than mine, right? Instead of like what it really comes down to, which is like, like even more improper nouns. Like, proper nouns are the names of specific items, and then nouns are like groups, and then like pronouns are like even like less defined groups. So like he is a very undefined group of things. It can define anything that's male, right? So they can define a human male, a male dog, a male politician. Like it can define many things that fall under that category. And then it can define like a like it can define like a planet. It can define like a pizzeria. It can define an anti-woke YouTuber. Like that's what I'm saying, right? Like one describes men, the other describes objects. And it's not very nondescript. And yes, I did throw that insult in there purposely.
video game developers are influenced by game journalists, like their stocks are influenced by game journalists, which are staffed by people that have this ideology. They're influenced by consultants, and usually game journalists will give games that hire the consultants better grades.
I mean, like, yeah, that's how money works, yes. Money is never really an isolated business, like, ever. So yes, that's how all business works, by the way. It's not just video games. In fact, it's also every successful business in the history of the world. It's also why games journalists are still mega successful, despite everyone shitting on them, because they kind of like inject themselves in every sphere. That's how business works. That's literally why I'm saying just shut the fuck up about Kotaku and let them die already, so that like we can just ignore their asses like again, and then they just eventually just fall off the face of the earth. Now, of course, that will mean you also fall off the face of the earth. But like I was already sold. At Kotaku dying, you don't have to sell it to me even more.
Notice how Stellar Blade is not receiving the same acclaim like AAA games do.
Uh, like, yeah, double A games tend to not. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. Very rarely do double A games get that acclaim, except for sometimes like with Elden Ring, right? Or Baldur's Gate 3. Oh wait, no, that kind of actually defeats that purpose of that argument. Like the double A games do tend to like sell very well and all that. Stellar Blade, as far as I know, didn't actually sell that many games. Like if you look at the PS5 like sales that you hear, it didn't really sell that well. Like it didn't sell poorly, but like compare like Stellar Blade to like Astrobot or fucking Helldivers 2, and there's a very very stark difference in sales there. Like I'm not saying it's a bad game, but like when Horizon is continuously mocked by you guys and it sold like 10 times the fucking copies, um like there's a reason PlayStation doesn't take you guys seriously anymore, and that's why. Like unless they are selling Concord, which is literally the biggest piece of dog shit I've seen in years. Like yeah, like unless they're doing that, like they tend to be successful. I mean, hell, they got Black Myth Wukong on the platform, which to be fair, they're saying it is being snubbed. I don't think it's being snubbed. I think like the way they update their like the scores is retarded. Like because like basically, I think they update it once every 24 hours, and like so like within an hour this like thing went from 90 to 76, but it's literally within a full day. And like also, yeah, like honestly, like I think God like Black Myth Wukong should win, not just be like in the awards but also win. But it does have some stiff competition, let's face it. Stellar Blade is not in there, I can tell you that. But Helldivers 2, honestly, Pal World, funnily enough, I'm going to put Pal World as way above Stellar Blade, just saying, game that basically broke all the same records Black Myth Wukong did with, like, a budget of a shoestring and a fucking hairdryer. Yeah, I'm going to put that above, like, above Stellar Blade. I'm just saying. I'm going to put that massively, like, probably the most successful, like, budget to sales game ever made. I'm going to put that above, like, anything you say. I'm just going to say that. Like, if we're going to do, like, budget percentage to sales, like, numbers, Pal World is literally the most successful game of all time, except maybe Minecraft and Tetris. Okay, my guy, like you are like it's definitely the most successful game of the year. Like we're just gonna like just from raw sales numbers, it's the most successful game of the year.
Notice how Wukong is not receiving the same acclaim. Why? Because they don't hire consultants, and if they don't hire consultants, the journalists they nitpick, they don't like the game, they give bad reviews.
They
Meanwhile,
didn't even really give Wukong a bad review. It's a pretty good game. It's got pretty good scores from what I've seen. I mean, there's like some like random cuck on like some site that gave it like a 2. I don't fucking know. Like I know like I heard like Screen Rant or whatever the fuck it is. I've never really looked at them as I look at them as even lesser than Kotaku. So I always say it like unless it's like GameSpot or IGN, I don't even like pretend to give a shit about like what's on there. Like it's the same thing with like more right-leaning journalists, unless it's like unless it's like directly from the Blaze or like Fox News themselves. I'm like, dog, like this is literally like some guy like in his like 20s, that believes like the Holocaust was secretly done by by Jews, right? There are probably people who are that dumb. It's what I'm saying. And by probably I mean there are. We've got flat earthers, we've got people like that. Unfortunately, Um, so yeah, I don't see it. Anyway, I
Oh,
did tell you I'm
games
gonna
like
like
this.
beat this
Oh,
guy's
oh,
entire ass argument on First Descendant in a bit.
10 out of 10 Kotaku. Oh, so amazing. Oh, Dragon Age. Oh, the character creator. Oh.
Well, no, Dragon Age just is like a Dragon Age game. Like people like Dragon Age. I don't know what to tell you. Like Dragon Age was always kind of like that. You don't have to like the game. That's fine. But Dragon Age, like it's just a standard Dragon Age game. Like if it doesn't sell well, it's because it's just like every other Dragon Age game.
Right?
Like it's like you can already play the other games and have a similar experience. It's sort of like when Joker 2 flopped, right? The reason why it flopped, like these guys will say like they changed too much, and then they forget that it's a Taxi Driver like movie is the original, right? There's a reason like all those inspired movies until this one had no 2 after them, right? Like an American Psycho like proved this as well. Like movies like American Psycho, Fight Club, and Taxi Driver, if you put a 2, you are doomed, right? There was only ever one Taxi Driver. There's only ever gonna be one Taxi Driver, right? As soon as they moved 2, it had to be a completely different movie, right? You can't just sequelize that. So what they have to do? Well, they kind of had to like do something new, because if they kept it with the DCEU, it also would have flopped, because it would have fucking been worth even less. So they had to change a lot of things, and so the movie was already very woke and left wing anyway. Like anyone who says otherwise, like actually watch the fucking movie. Like the whole like killing spree is because of a bunch of rich white dudes who beat the shit out of him. Who honestly, I'm gonna be for real. Like the fact he went crazy after killing 3 people who tried to kill him, which would make it completely justified, in like at least in my opinion. He should have just went to the police right away and said like these guys tried to fucking kill him, and that's why they're dead. Really leaving the scene and looking guilty is really what caused like a lot of the mayhem later. So even in the first movie, it's like you just like go to the police, right? You were literally like you have bruises from when they were stepping on you from their kicks and all that in the face. I'm pretty sure you have a good argument, you know, but he didn't do that, and then but if he did that, we wouldn't have had a movie, because he would just like, look, we have sympathy for this guy because he got the shit kicked out of him, and he survived self-defense, like this is like Kyle Rittenhouse kind of things, he would be a national hero on conservative media, which is really like what they're like kind of insulting anyway, like fucking like old like late night television and shit, like all the boomer conservative bullshit, right? That no one really likes. Yeah, I said it.
Now gamers are noticing this, and they're basically saying, "Who are you making these games for?"
I don't know, like someone who likes funny looking characters that were like from SpongeBob or something. Well, like you're making this point. I play games with hot chicks in them too, but I could play this and like laugh my ass off for like several hours at how like she looks. I'm not gonna lie. You have no sense of humor as if you don't see this like value in this.
Because
Like if it if it was Concord maybe, but like this actually I can get entertained just by looking at this picture, right? Like in fact, I find more value on the picture on the right than the one on the left, because the left is just like a generic like 9 woman. This one is like, it's sort of like pugs, right? Pugs are so fucking ugly looking that you kind of just give them attention anyway. It's known as pugly or ugly cute, right? Where it's like, oh, but like it's literally like an abomination against God, but you gotta look at it and it's so cute, right? It's weird, right? Like it's weird that people find it cute, and I find them cute too. But like that's kind of the thing. It's known as ugly cute or pugly, right? That's what this kind of face is. It's like honestly, like she looks so much disgusting and disgruntled that I kind of actually like it.
When you
It's
look
sort of
at
like the one in Dragon Age, not the one in Concord or like Overwatch or whatever. Those ones did not look good, right? But like this
the
one looks
list, which
interesting enough,
Capcom
you know?
released from their survey,
Well, they said unique and attractive, right? You know, so she's definitely unique, and you know, someone finds her attractive, so there you go. She's got that too. Um, like I don't know about the other. Like this is Ubisoft, so it definitely doesn't have this. And probably not this. It has this. Ubisoft games have a really good soundtrack, and they don't have this. So they have this, and they kind of have this, which is two of the five, and it's not the first one or the third one, right? Like, you know, so like they're definitely not going to hit with most gamers, but I could see a decent portion of gamers enjoying like Star Wars Outlaws if it was marketed better or like at all. I don't even remember it like seeing it marketed, right? You know, like these days, like because for me, like I look at mostly YouTube to be fair, but like so maybe I don't like see all the television ads, but I tend to have ads on YouTube. I have literally never seen that, right? Like if I go to Netflix or like Amazon Prime, right? I still don't see ads for it, right? But like I'll see ads for First Descendant. So really, when it comes down to it, I think First Descendant just has a better marketing budget, and like this was like they wasted all their budget on like on an artist having fun making like art that wasn't actually supposed to be in the game, and then they just ended up this was what we got, right? You know, like if that's the story, like the actual story behind it, I kind of like actually like sympathize with the artist there. Like sometimes you just have too much fun making a character, but also like I don't because like you're literally paid way more than I am, and I don't even like do it that badly, right? I don't spend 8 years on a single character just because it's too fun. I spend like one or two, but like fucking eight. God, it's like you need to get some better work ethic there. But like that's what I'm betting happened because like a lot of artists literally just do that. They
notice
just,
that
like,
the
spend
number
way
two
too
reason
much
for
fucking
people
time every
buying
day.
games,
Which this guy doesn't get because he's not an artist. But like that's literally why a lot of like the ugly characters that are like kind of like clearly not supposed to be in the game or in games. It's just the artists are having fun.
are unique and attractive characters. Then
But she is unique, and some people will find her attractive. So that's covered. Like if she looked Blandy McBlandinson, then you couldn't really do that, right? But she looks pretty unique. I've never seen any game character like that before. So it covers two, right? So
the
yeah,
number
it covers two, and it's an Ubisoft game, so it actually does cover four. That is probably the only thing that I will say about Ubisoft games that are good, like consistently, is the soundtrack is usually pretty decent, right? The gameplay, fuck out of there. The story, I mean, like sometimes, but not really. And like hell no, the difficulty.
two reason.
Those games are way too easy.
And by the way, unique and attractive characters doesn't just mean that you sell your game. It also means that you sell merchandise. You sell t-shirts, you sell keychains, you sell hats, you sell action figures. There is literally no reason not to have unique and attractive characters. But again, the mental illness that we need to have.
Like, dude, like, okay, why don't you have a unique and attractive character? Like, you know, like, okay, you have a unique character, I guess, right? So you have a unique character, they have a unique character. You kind of like get what I'm saying, right? You know, like what's your trash? Is it like some random person in like Zimbabwe's fucking like mega crush? So like there's no like this is like a nonsense statement. This one unique is a good word. Like attractive is completely subjective, right? The individual finds people attractive or ugly. I'm pretty sure most people would find you ugly, right? Both in the avatar and in real life. But they can't say you're not unique. I mean, you sound like a fucking like you sound like fucking a walrus having sex with a wood chipper. Just saying, like that's what you sound like. You don't sound good. You don't look good to my eyes, at least. So yeah, you know, you aren't that. But you clearly have good marketing, and it's because it's unique, right? Like you don't really see too much of this, right? You know, I'm pretty sure. So we just need unique, and that clearly is unique. I haven't seen anything like that in the game before, honestly. Like, so we have unique covered,
Have rotten
which
apples
is the
everywhere,
only one that really matters that much.
so that rotten apples get to feel included. Is my
Look, you are definitely like you're so rotten like that. Like all you have is like a little bit of a pit of seeds, and like ants are all over it, and like there's a fucking roach on your apple too. Like there's a roach. Your thing is so bug infested. There's a fucking roach on it. Like my guy, like you look fucking disgusting. Like you look like Asmongold's house, not Asmongold, his house, right? Like Asmongold doesn't look that great, but he doesn't look as bad as his house. Right? His house looks fucking disgusting. Now, hopefully, he did say he's gonna try to clean it, so hopefully he does clean it. Because honestly, like that's the thing. Like a lot of his critics are probably like hating him because like he says something they don't disagree with. I hate him because he refuses to clean his room. Right? It's just my guy. Like, just clean your fucking room. Get a better like looking house, my guy.
not big, especially
Like live in a place where you can breathe oxygen at night instead of like vomit induced like rat fumes.
when the rotten apples themselves do not buy the games. So why do I say there is no such thing as anti-woke? It's because it means being a normal human being. That's what it means. There is no ideology that is anti-woke. Like people who are politically
Well, yes, that is true. There is an anti-woke ideology, but it's y'all like dumb shits, right? Like most people aren't like woke. That is true. That's why there's a different like that's why there's a term for it. Most people also, as you might know, are not smokers, but there is a term for that, right? And like that's kind of thing. But like anti-woke would be in opposition to woke, right? There's a difference between being like just not giving a shit, which is what normal people do, and then there's being anti-woke, which is what you do, right? Like normal people are people like Actman, right? People like Critical. They're called normies because they're normal, right? They're just normal men, right? You know what I mean? Normal men don't give a shit about shit like this because they're too busy like actually making money and good content to give a flying fuck about whatever this bullshit is that's bad, right? They don't care because like they're doing their own thing. And because of that, they have more nuanced opinions on why things are bad and stuff that are more accurate to the actual like existentialism of the conversation. Um, yours just like your state of mind is not normal. And that's the problem with like anti-wokeism, right? Normal is not woke, but normal is also not anti-woke, right? Like normal is just like don't give a flying fuck about it, right? Like normal like conservatives are Brendan Herrera, right? Like crazy like retard conservatives are this guy. There's a big difference, you know. Brendan Herrera can make a decent video and form an opinion without like abiding by like his culture war manual made by like a neckbeard in like the fucking ashes of the quartering's nutsack, you know.
disconnected and do not know anything about the grand culture, they are seeing these games with eyesore of characters and they are not buying them. There is no problem right now. Oh, this inflation. Oh, the video game industry is collapsing. No, because if you were...
No, inflation is actually causing a problem. I wouldn't say it's really like they're like that big of a deal for the games industry or the movies industry or whatever. It's more like people aren't able to buy food and pay for rent, and like so people are buying less entertainment. So they're taking less risk with their money too. So like a lot of things that people pay for now are safe like products, and that's just because they have less money to like actually like buy like things that they might not enjoy, right? Which I think is actually going better for them, honestly. Like I would think more people would be entertained, just with less because they're spending less money on like games, but like they're also guaranteeing they like the game too, right? Because that's kind of the thing, right? Like it's sort of like when you're a kid, right? Because like gaming has never been better. We're just so much more attached to the negative press. Like if you go to like back to 2002 and like compare all the shitty games to the some like good games that you remember, like the percentage of like shovelware that was like literally like plastered on consoles and like marketed like they had ads for is obnoxiously larger than it used to be. You know, like it used to be there would be like like you would have like decent sports games like BMX and like early like Madden and stuff, but then you would have like the whatever the fuck like psychotic like fucking Satanist made the baseball games of the PS2 era. I think like he literally like drowns babies in a fucking pool of blood, and then like fucking just slaughters puppies for a living because that guy is like an immense fucking creepazoid of many like proportions. That guy is a dark wizard. I can tell you that because whoever thought that anyone would fucking want to play a game where you can't hit the fucking ball because it's even harder to actually fucking aim the bat in those games than like aiming a bat at a ball in real life. And I am proof of that because I did not have any issue playing baseball as a kid, and I could not fucking ever hit that fucking ball. And I could really like never even really pitch that good. Like the game just fucking sucks so much, right? Every other sports game of that era was like decent, and then you had the fucking baseball games, right? But then like also obviously you had like a lot of RPG stinkers too. Like obviously we had classics like Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, but you also had like some like rip-offs of Blue Dragon. Like Blue Dragon was decent, but then you had like was it like something Saga? Like it was like I forget what like the series was called. Like it was literally just a fucking like mess of a game. Like Fire Joker covered it at one point. I know that. Um, and it was like we had so many fucking bad fucking games. Now, obviously, I'm trying to remember them because obviously, PS2 era had a lot of shitty games, but like it's hard to remember them because we blanked them out, right? But they do exist, right? Like there are like some games that like there were plenty of those games too. And the difference is like most of our shovelware is like on Steam now, and it's like some indie shit that was made like in Unity in 5 minutes from an asset flip, right? Like most people who make bad games put no effort into them or have a AAA budget, but like it's not even really it's a bad game. It's just like dog, like I've got better games to play. Like most AAA games aren't even really bad. They're just poorly optimized, and I don't want to play them because they've got better shit to do, right? It's not even that they're bad. It's just man, like it's like Star Wars Outlaws isn't bad. It's just like I got better shit to play, like. It's the same thing with Concord. Like it's not even that it's bad. It's just like, I just play Paladins or Overwatch, like or Apex Legends, or like maybe I'll like throw in some Valorant, install that like virus spyware on my computer to play a game. Like I'd rather do that because it's a better game. And my cousin plays it. I don't know why I like installed all that, but like my cousin plays Valorant, right? I've got plenty of games that aren't Concord that I could play instead of Concord that are way better and free. So that's why I don't play Concord, right? It's not even that it looks horrendously awful. It's just everything else is just better. Like that's in that like category. Like like I always say it, right? Like there's a lot of Hades likes now that since Hades got mega popular, right? Hades 1 and 2 are obviously like at the top of the list, but then you have like there's this King Arthur style game which is really good, and then you have like games that are just fucking awful, right? And it's literally the same like style of gameplay and like a very similar graphic style, but it just isn't good, right? There's something about it where it just isn't good, right? And that's kind of the thing, right? Like when you have a game that's extremely good, and then you have like other games that are pretty good, and then you have games that are just so fucking mid that you don't want to really like worry about them because you can just have a better game with the games you already have. That's what Concord is basically. It's not really a bad game. It's just there's so much better shit to play that I don't have to invest monetarily in. You know, and like I have more hours in as well, right? So, like, would I rather play Paladins or Concord? Would I rather play Overwatch 2 or Concord? Would I rather play Apex Legends or Concord? Would I rather play Valorant or Concord? Right? These are the things people are looking at in their minds because they actually a lot of these games are still getting new content as well. So like when you think about it, right? Like what would I rather do with my time? It's not even just the money investment, it's the time investment as well. Like you got a limited amount of time to play games. Which would you rather play? Would you rather play a game you know is good that still has new content to play, or a game that you don't even know if it's like okay or not that you you know that you have to pay for before you can play as well, and you don't even know how like long it's going to get content because it doesn't really look like it's selling too well. This is really what it comes down to. People are like inflation is absolutely that, and like work hours are absolutely the reasons why a lot of games they're just mid are not even selling like 1,000 copies right now.
Or to apply the scientific method,
Like people are just too poor to do that's the issue. Like everyone like I what's funny is literally everyone on Twitter is talking about how fucking bad like the economy is and how like they're voting for Trump to fix the fucking economy, and they're like hardcore Democrats are even doing this, right? And like that's why they're voting. Like they say fuck like the anti-trans nonsense that he's spewing, but hey, look, can you just fix this fucking economy? That's what most people are thinking, right? And so like you look at that and you're saying, oh, that's not an issue. Yes, people being broke and struggling to afford rent being like a massive message on every social media site on the planet is not indicative of people being broke. Bullshit, my guy. Like I said, I don't think these games would have done as well as like the other games that are good that I mentioned, but I'm saying like, you know, the games that are doing as poorly as they are, like they just fucking deserve to do that bad, you know? Like, but also like they aren't like as bad as like the shitty shit that we played on the PS2 era. Like that's just the thing. Like go always say it right. Save for like the Gollum game, right? Nothing was really as bad or broken as a lot of like games that you know that we have like had like in the PS2 era, right? That were bad. Because that's the thing, right? Like a lot of PS2 games, when they were like bad PS2 games, they were like the Gollum game, right? The Gollum game. You remember the Gollum game, right? That was like a lot of really shitty PS2 era titles. No one really liked them, obviously, so none of us really remember them because it's never talked about. But those were like that was like a bit like big games back then were like that. Like AAA has never been like the bastion of gaming, right? Like it's been a lot of shovelware already anyway.
have the control group. You have games that are made in Asia. You have even games that are in AAA and they're just phone games like Nikkei and the one that I showed you earlier.
Well, Nikkei isn't a game, it's just a fucking phone game, but okay.
And those are printing money, like people are interested in...
Well, they aren't interested in the gameplay, but they are interested. Like, honestly, like, Nikkei is just proof that, like, gooner will sell something, right? Like, that is absolutely a gooner game. Like, Stellar Blade has good gameplay, right? Like, Nikkei is literally just... like imagine if Time Crisis like had like half the good like it had like very terrible controls where you like could tap anywhere on the screen pretty much and do like what you would actually have to like aim a gun for and stuff. And like most of it's just really just put graphics behind a slot machine. Like yeah, like you're literally just gambling at like you're playing a pachinko machine on your phone basically. Like that's why I don't really like a lot of mobile games. It's like most of them are just pachinko machines. Like it's like save for Genshin Impact, which actually has gameplay. How many mobile games are just pachinko machines, but you can't win money? Right? Just go to Japan and play a pachinko. It's like the same experience, but like if you win, you get paid.
This. And by the way, left-leaning people are interested in this as well. The only people that aren't interested in this are the people that are part of the LGBT community, because they still have the fan service in the games. You still have the shirtless men. You still have like the queer.
Oh, what the fuck is this guy on? Oh, the LGBT people. We don't like attractive What the fuck are you on, dude? Have you seen like name a left wing porn artist? Like a woke porn artist. Yes. All those smoking hot futanari women that you jack off to, clearly. Yes, those are made by woke people. All the most of the hot women you've jacked off to are made by woke artists. I'm just gonna say that right now. You cannot believe me as much as you want, but you can actually look at their takes. Like if you can find them, they aren't on your side at all. Woke people, especially like LGBT woke people, like they aren't actually any like box you can like fit in, motherfucker. Like just saying, you're trying to box in problems, and what it comes down to is your solution just sucks.
Fan service, and you still have that, so they're happy, right? They just like
also he's talking about fan service in unique and attractive characters, because he doesn't actually know what fan service is. Like obviously, anyone who's actually played a good game, where like you're doing more than just looking at the characters for sex appeal, knows what fan service really is. A good way to describe it is Barry Burton. Like he's not really like that hot or anything, right? But he does have like a few cool lines, right? In his first game, right, he says, "I have this," and like lifts up his 44 Magnum, his Colt Anaconda, right? And then if you go play the end of Revelations 2, right, the final chapter, and you get the good ending, right? Barry walks out after fighting like the first stage of the boss, and then like Claire shows up with a sniper rifle and a bazooka, right? And she starts shooting up the boss a bit with the sniper at first, right? And everyone gets on the plane while the helicopter to escape, but Barry like just hops off and like starts to fight the boss anyway, right? And like all the characters are looking at him, and like he just walks, he lets this slow-mo badass walk, and then his daughter, right, ask if he'll need their help, and he says, "I'll always need you, but for now I have this." See, that's fan service. That actually is fan service. Like having a hot chick isn't even fucking fan service, because you have to reference something that was already there to be fan service, right? Having a hot chick isn't fan service. That's gooner shit, right? You can have that be fan service in a franchise, right? Where or if it's a reference to like something, right? Like the Akira slide, right? You don't have to be the Akira to have the Akira slide, right? But that's what the fan service of it is, right? The Akira slide, right? That's fan service right there, right? You're referencing something that people who are fans of other anime will get, right? That's what fan service is. It's a reference to something that fans of like the genre or series or whatever will get that non-fans might not, right? It's basically what's known as like a safe filter, where you don't necessarily filter away the audience, but you filter away like, now you know who the true fans are, right? Because they'll get it while the others won't, kind of thing. And so like just having scantily clad women isn't fan service unless it's a reference to something earlier in the series or something. Like this is why like he doesn't get it, because fan service isn't big tittied woman, right? It's like, like how all the like hot teacher chicks in games, or like older chicks or whatever, have that glasses scene where like they do the sexier glasses removal, which is like a reference to like a lot of anime as well, right? So like you have Bayonetta does it, and like I think they have a character in Devil May Cry that does it, right? And it's called the sexy glasses removal, right? And like that's fan service, yes, right? When like you have a hot like witch chick just take off her glasses in this one like motion that they always do. Then they always do this specific motion, right? Because that's the fan service. That's what the reference is, right? It's sort of like, whenever you have like a nerdy like a vaguely nerdy like dude like from Japan, he's always like doing this with his glasses where like he pushes them in a bit, and then like the light just shines bright on the scene. That's fan service as well. See, this is the thing. He thinks fan service is just making hot chicks, which it isn't even what it is. It's making things that are references for fans. Not all fans need hot chicks necessarily. Like a good way to say it, like if you put hot chicks in The Hills Have Eyes, it's not fan service to The Hills Have Eyes because it never had them before. Like The Hills Have Eyes has not really had too many like sexy characters, right? But if you have a reference to like, the dogs are called Beauty and Beast, that's sort of a reference to Beauty and the Beast, which kind of like has a bit of fan service in that way, right? Fan service is a reference for fans. That's what it means. I'm just going to say this right now. You have no clue what fan service is, because you have never actually watched enough anime. You are a discount weeb. You are a tourist.
And I noticed
because you think the presence of lolly is the fan service and not the things that they typically do that there's a reference to, right? Is basically like a good way to say it, right? Like he'd say like, oh, there's a lolly chick in here, but not like the lolly chick is doing like a there's a certain thing like a lot of them do, like where it's like a little dance thing that a lot of them are seen doing, right? That is fan service. But if they're just physically there, no, it's not. It's just like a lolly, it's just like a lolly exists. Yes, that's not fan service, right? Like the lolly character in Dragon Ball wasn't fan service because she was physically standing there. She was fan service because she was a reference of his other series, like Dr. Slump, because Arali was in that as well, right? So that's like kind of the thing, right? Like if you actually know anime, you know the difference between fan service and just having them there. Like Bulma existing isn't fan service. Bulma doing that pose that she does to Master Roshi and Master Roshi's nose bleeding is fan service because that's like a meme of anime. It's a trope, right? Like I always say, like fan service is basically just TV tropes.
Just a lot, like especially on Twitter,
right? And like that's why they're TV tropes and cliches. By the way, like the thing is like too much fan service and you don't have a movie. Not enough fan service and like that doesn't have enough of the cliches that people like it, right? There's a reason why cliches are made, and there's also you don't want to just be cliches, right? You don't want to just be cliches, but you also got to have something that's not just that's a little cliche too, right? And so yeah, like just having a hot chick isn't fan service. She's got to do something that references something else.
You see a person mocking you for liking heteronormative female characters?
The heteronormative female characters, and it's the first Descendant character. Look, dog. Look, I'm just gonna like say just go outside, right? Like I like hot chicks. I like First Descendant. I like the hot chicks in First Descendant. But like 90% of guys, 99% of guys, 100% of your audience are not gonna be like looking at a chick like that most of their lives, right? So because of that, you need to like know this thing called settling. And now the thing is, really, what it comes down to is also, like First Descendant is not made to like have any grounding in realism, right? You're made to like feel super powerful and all that, right? So like for a game like Stellar Blade, which is similar in that way, right? You feel powerful, you have a hot, sexy woman, it feels better, right? But not every game is supposed to be like that. So we don't like. Why do we need like like god complex characters in fucking Dead Space, right? Dead Space is a horror game where you're supposed to feel weak and powerless and barely able to survive, and you feel like every encounter you just kind of only barely scrape by, which also isn't the case because it's Dead Space, and if you've played survival horror enough, you actually just can just survive anything anyway because you're good at that genre, and it's simple enough that like you don't have to learn too much each game. Um, but like when you're just starting out, like that's how you're supposed to feel, right? So they have you like kind of like in that kind of way where you don't really feel super powerful. You don't really have like a super strong dude, like Isaac Clarke in Dead Space. Like I mean, I guess he looks decent, but like you don't really see his face often. But like when he like emotes like physically, even in the original game, he doesn't seem strong. He seems like clunky and slow and hardly able to move. And while these monsters are just like zooming in around and shit, right? And like all the monsters are just fleshy, like monstrosities of bone and sinew, like warped around what used to be human flesh, right? So yes, like it depends on what you mean when it comes to hot chicks, right? Like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and it also depends on like the genre of the game, right? Like I don't need a hot chick in Dead Space or Silent Hill 2. In fact, honestly, I think if they made her hot, like Stellar Blade hot, I would fucking despise Silent Hill 2, right? Because it just wouldn't fucking fit. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to be scared of? Like her boobs gonna crush me, like my guy, like there's reasons why like some games make certain decisions that other games don't, right? And that's just how it goes. Also, it's funny that like he mentions like LGBT only liking stuff. I have never seen an LGBT person play Concord or Dustborn. I have seen plenty play First Descendant. So, where's your argument there, buddy? Like I've seen plenty play Warframe. I've seen plenty, play like Stellar Blade. I've seen plenty play Hades 1 and 2, of course, too, because we don't just limit ourselves to one body type. But the idea that, even like this thing about gay and trans people play, like, what the fuck are you on? Like, what drugs are you on? I want to know. Like, I want them. Like, you're clearly on something.
And when you go onto their account,
it's causing some
it's
good
like an
brain
altar
damage
dedicated to
in a good way,
homosexuality. And you're like, look, I respect what you're into. Like, I'm not criticizing it.
But, like, no homosexual is into that either, so what the fuck are you on?
But why can't you be tolerant? And they will usually say, well, yeah, but like my thing is artistic, my thing is meaningful, my thing is such and such. Oh, so like anything that's outside of your realm of play.
Oh, no, like what it is that you just, like, are not talking to people and just making shit up. Maybe you're talking to like a 7-follower account on Twitter or exclusively Kotaku employees. Maybe like that's what it is. Maybe he's talking to Kotaku employees instead of human beings. Like if you look at a dinner table, like if you go to your dinner table on a holiday, right? They will literally like sound like I am, because that's like how people are. Like my aunt like is very conservative. She's like a massive Trump supporter and all of that. She's got far more nuanced positions on trans issues than me, and she is like a massive manga, right? And I'm pretty like like left on like trans issues, but she's even lefter. And it turns out she had me and my brother, right? We're both trans. And so that's what it comes down to, right? Like people just have experience with issues you don't, because you don't go outside. And my aunt is a teacher who actually helps like disabled kids in school. So she has to deal with like a lot of, people with problems and stuff. And she just doesn't care. She's also a very massive Christian. Like if you try to question her faith, she will walk circles around someone like Melanie Mack with her Bible. Like Melanie Mack will not win any debate on Christianity with my aunt. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Like my aunt is a far better Christian than her. Like, she goes to church every fucking Sunday. She always she's always doing like charity work or like teaching or whatever all the time. Isn't like it depends on like obviously, but like you'll always see her doing something for other people, and all that. Like so she knows her Bible. A lot of you guys like LARP as Christians. She actually is one.
Pleasure or your realm of interest is evil, right? So the stuff that I'm watching is evil, the stuff that you're watching is good. And these are the people, the foot soldiers, that basically call you a gooner.
Like, no, like, I call you a gooner, and I'm a gooner. Like, I'm just not hiding it, I don't even see, like, the problem with the word gooner. Like, hey, look, porn addict, okay, yeah, who the fuck cares? I am a member of the human race. That's my defense to it. Like, you're making up all these, like, things like it's a bad thing. I'm just like, hey, I'm a member of the human race. I'm online, I'm anonymous, and I'm not, like, hunting kids. There we go. That's, like, my defense.
The reason
I'm a human being, and I'm not harming anyone.
they call you a gooner is because you're gooning to something differently that they do. And usually it's like furries and people that are into non-heteronormative relationships. And again, like, I have no problem.
Which is funny because it's also like literally 90% of the internet. A lot of these things don't exist off the internet, including lollies and a lot of weeb stuff, right? Like outside of like certain parts of Japan, you don't really see too much like lolly stuff like be super normalized. Like even like when they did that thing with like Gargura in like the like Major League Baseball game, right? People thought it was cute, but then they like went to and then they started getting weirded out, right? Because it's Gargura, right? And it's not that people hate this shit. It's just that it's not like what people are normally going to see. Like people don't really care either, to be fair. People just think it's like okay, people are into that. Oh, that's kind of silly. It's the same with like furries. Like people are like, man, that's a little weird, but hey, look, more power to you, like, unless it's actual people or actual animals, no one really cares, is really the sentiment. Like, if you're not harming kids or dogs, no one cares.
With what they like. I mean, go like what you like. It's fine. I'm not going to come up to you and be upset if you don't like the
But you're also looking for legitimate thoughts on Twitter. Like, log off this app of here, V. Like, I'm just going to say this. Log off this app. Go back to Facebook, where all the boomer normies are, right? Like, just jack off to, like, the Jesus pic of you, on there, right? That's, like, literally Jesus and his, like, neck is in, like, a fucking twisted abomination by AI. You just do that, Like, go hang out with the Karens. Because that's where like actually like most people are. Like literally like the reason why no one really uses Facebook is because they actually do, but like they don't use it every 5 seconds because people on Facebook have enough characters that they can say what they want. Also, Facebook's a lot more censored, to be fair. But also, like, people just post like grill pics where like 90% of the things like I see on Facebook are literally like my uncle posts like a new grill like thing he did, right? Like he just like shows his grill with like a new meal he cooked or something, right? That's most of Facebook. But like that's also most of Facebook, right? Like it's mostly normal human shit where people just share moments of their families and friends, which is why more people use it, but it has less activity because they aren't on it all day. They're using it, like there's more people using Facebook, like objectively any standard, there's more unique visits on Facebook than Twitter, right? Which is also why they don't recognize AI as much because they're not as terminally online as you or me. So they aren't like staring at that thinking like, it was like some like computer that did it because they don't really know that much shit about computers, right? But then you go like, to like Twitter and be like, AI, these guys are like crazy and shit. It's literally like just people are just like don't give a shit because it's like they're old a lot of times too. But like, it's always funny. Like they're like Facebook's for boomers. No one uses that. I'm like, most people are boomers. Like like you know, millennials are not that popular of like the percentage of population. It's boomers and Gen Xers who are the Facebook crowd, and that's why like they you know, that's why you know they have the largest generations of people. They also have the largest They also have like the largest like site. You know, yeah, it's all their site, but also that's the largest generations of people. So yes, there's more people on there.
Depictions in a video game, I would be like, okay.
Because remember, Twitter has Gen Z and millennials, right? And same with like YouTube and stuff, right? Now YouTube has like the advantage of if it's a video sharing site, so there's more. YouTube is the biggest like site on the in the world. Like it's not even like close. Um, but like YouTube also like you know has like the advantage of it's not just a social network. It is a social network because like you know you have your own profile you create things on, but like and you can network with people and all that. But you have more than that, you know.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't want to buy the video game, let the game developer know what his problem is, and if there's a market for what he wants, hopefully they will give it to him. Like, that's the normal and healthy reaction, right? But the problem is that the ideologues genuinely believe that if you put rotten apples in video games, it actually makes life better.
Yeah, but the thing is, like you're saying that they're rotten apples, right? Like most people like don't give a shit if like a game looks like this, right? In fact, like I said, a lot of people just use character creators to create these monstrosities because it's fun, right? Not everyone, but a lot of people do. The reason, like the real problem with gaming, like when it comes to stories, is like that, like bad writing, and like a real reason why like a lot of these games fail, like I said, is like just they're worse versions of things that you already have, right? So like if someone sell like let's say you have like a 4090, right? And someone tries to sell you a 1650 and like you don't have another computer to put it in, you're going to tell them to fuck off, right? You know? And that's basically what like Overwatch 2 and Paladins and Apex Legends and Valorant are to Concord, right? Concord is a 1650 and you know these others are like 3080s and 4090s, right? Like which would you rather have, right? You're upgrading from like a 4060, so you got to have something that's an upgrade. Well, the 1650 is far of a downgrade from that, right? So like you get the idea, right? Like you want a better card, not a worse one. And like they're offering you a worse one, so you're not gonna buy it because you want the upgrade or just the same thing you already have. You don't want to downgrade with hardware, right? And this is what it really comes down to. He's like saying, but like, you know, maybe you just want more games. And yes, it's true. Like, you know, some games are more experiences than others, right? Like, but the thing is, like I said, the money problem, right? People have less money, like less extra money than they used to, so they're spending less on games. Like when you're struggling to pay for your house, there's an issue with how you spend your like how much like extra money you have to spend. And entertainment, I'm just gonna say this, my guy, is always your extra money. You don't spend your housing money on it. You don't spend your grocery money on it. You spend your extra money on it, right? And if you have less extra money, you have less options for games. That's just how it works. And so less people have extra money for games, so less people are buying games. That's factually how it works.
Better for rotten apples in real life.
I can't believe I'm like explaining like how economic inflation and increased rates of poverty make it so people buy things less to a guy that's allegedly a capitalist. Like you're allegedly a capitalist, but I'm explaining to you like basically how capitalism works. You know, like I mean obviously, you know, I'm explaining it from like the like economic portion and not the like the from the consumer portion, not the capitalist portion, because really consumerism isn't capitalism either, right? Capitalism is like the art of creating things, right? But you need to have like consumers and capitalists in the society of capitalism to really thrive, right? There are going to always be consumers in a capitalist society, but there aren't always going to be capitalists, unfortunately, in a capitalist society, which is unfortunately a problem America has started to suffer from. We have a lot less capitalists, like people creating capital, um, than we have consumerists, like people buying, like things that are temporary, like food and stuff, right? Like the average person is always a consumer, right? But like occasionally you have creators or capitalists, right? People who create the value. They're always a rarity, but like now they're at a scarcity, right? Because there's so many billionaires and not a lot of small business owners, and like that's kind of a problem too. Anyone who's a small business owner is a freelance. We are our own boss kind of person, like me, right? Like or you really, you're a YouTuber, you're a freelancer as well, right? You do freelance labor, is what it's called. You work a freelance job, um, and so like like you probably don't understand what's like working at McDonald's. Is what I'm saying. Like someone like Asmongold kind of has that mindset where he's been to a 9 to 5 before, so he kind of understands it. You, I don't think, have that. Like I think you've always worked on YouTube, so you don't understand like the actual struggles of most people on the planet. I do a bit, and Asmongold does a bit, and these people you insult for being normal men have worked real jobs before. And that's kind of like the issue. You've never worked a real job. You've never like had to physically drive somewhere or walk somewhere like for an hour and then like, show up, like, make sure you spruce up so you don't smell all that. And also like, you have to like make sure you're in the uniform that they like require you to be in. And then stand in like a line like behind a counter for 8 hours, like hope that a Karen doesn't fuck up your day, while everyone's stressing you out and stuff, right? That's the experience you don't have, right? Which is good in reality, but it does mean you don't have the experience of 90% of people on the planet. You aren't normal by definition because you haven't been like outside working a real job, right? As they say. Like it's not really a real job. Like all jobs are real jobs. Like freelance is a real job. But if you've never done that, you don't have that experience. You don't have an experience of what it's like to be poor, right? Which is what most people are right now. Like the poverty level is like above 50%, my dude. There is like an erasure of middle class. You are seeing this happen. You are hearing this happen. I don't know if you're talking about it, but that's what most people are concerned about: the erasure of the middle class, the increased rates of poverty, and maybe a couple of social issues, but mainly, like almost primarily, like the economy is the biggest issue that everyone's wanting to be fixed right now because gas prices it's a bit too high.
Life, which is
you might not know about that, but most people do.
Completely false, right? It just makes people feel disgusted because no one likes to eat rotten apples. So you get to see, on the menu rotten apples and people leave the restaurant. That's what's happening. It's not like your ideology is false. Like it's got a false premise. It's not going.
Who sells apples at restaurants? I mean, like apple pie. I don't know about apples. Like maybe like an apple fritter. Like you don't go to a restaurant for just apples. Like I guess you can have like the apple packs in like Wendy's, but no one goes to a restaurant and buys just apples. Like the closest I can think of that is like I said, the Wendy's apple like packets, and like a smoothie with apples in it. But if you buy a smoothie, you're probably wanting at least 2 fruits, so not even then,
Going to make people say, oh well, like these are apples too, so therefore I'm no. If you put on
and maybe it's like a European thing. I mean, like fucking like Britain like has like the most disgusting foods ever. And then like says like they're so much better than Indian food. I'm like, dog, look, you can say whatever about how curry looks, but you can't talk about how it tastes. You know why you can't talk about how it tastes? Because it does, which is something your food doesn't.
aesthetically displeasing characters. If you put eyesores, people are just going to be repulsed by those
Yeah, but
characters.
like none of these are eyesores. They're just not that great looking. You are an eyesore. Like you should know from experience what an eyesore is.
And play something else. They're not people, by the way. Like, they're not human beings. They're a product. They're pixels on the screen. They're fictional.
Yeah. You're not a human being. You're a product. I know. Anyway, let me actually like play a decent game. Since you did say play a better game, right? So I'm gonna play a better game. I want better content than this guy's channel. So I'll load up my 250-hour playthrough of First Descendant on this stream because I fucking want to like flex on this dumbass who has nowhere near the time in this game. You know, I have like my fucking girlfriend playing this too. You know. I have plenty of other friends as well. I have a friend like overseas who I play this with sometimes. You know, like I have friends in your fucking area who I play this with. But you know what I know? What's mysterious? It's not you. I've never seen you in the game. You know, like I've seen plenty of people from Romania and like that kind of area, like, you know. I've never seen you in it though. Such a strange phenomenon, right? What a twist. But I've never seen you before. But you know, I'm going to continue my flex on this guy because this is what I really find funny is like these guys will like hype up games and then like they'll be stuck on chapter 3 of Black Myth Wukong. Like Synthetic Man is like hyping up all this shit. And then, like, he's literally stuck on chapter fucking 3. Like, I am on the final chapter, and I, like, am, like, bad at the game, right? But, like, I'm not gonna criticize it because Yin Tiger is hard. Which is the thing he does. Which is hilarious. And then he says it's too easy. But then, like, he has a problem with, like, a boss that's, you know, that you're not supposed to fight right away if you want the good ending. That he fights right away because he doesn't actually care about like the quality of the game. He just wants to stream shit for views and not actually like care about the quality of the games he's playing, you know. But yeah, no, this is my Enzo. He's like a banana boat man, you know. He's got a little kitty on his back because this is how things go in the game. You get little kits and stuff like that because you know, you want some like adorable little like things on your back
now
and stuff.
what do you want?
So I'm gonna like show you.
Go
like
on,
so.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, get a crystal and catalyst. I got like, how many of those do I have? Like, remember when people were saying these were a bitch to farm? Oh yeah, I got 3 left, and I'm not even like close to running out. You know. And then like, you know, we'll just look at my Descendants menu. Let's see. This is like a flex. If you're good at the game, this isn't a flex. But we've got Alt Bunny. This was farmed, 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 this was farmed. This is like, well, this was farmed, but like, you know, you kind of get it for free. And this was farmed, right? I bought Valve, just regular Valve, and I started with Viesa, right? Because you start with one of them, right? But everyone else was farmed, right? So that's like about like 100 hours of farming, basically. Not really. Like you know, you can like do dedicated farms way faster than that. And then like I've got like, you know, these guns are like formed a couple times. So like, you know, I've got a few more little polarities on here for my mods. You know, I got an energy activator on the weapon itself. You know, like I've got like a few more slots I gotta put on this gun. I've also got to farm up like 3 more of these. I farmed 2, that's why there's 1 dot there. But I want to farm 3 more, so there's all 4 dots are on there. And it's fully upgraded on its passive, which if you look over here, this is its unique ability. It basically bombards, like, you know, with like sky laser shits, the enemies, with something that does like this much damage, of like your weapon damage, and it has 4 bombardments right now. with a 12.5% trigger rate, but it's gonna have like a 20% chance in a 7 count there when I fully upgrade it, and just like better like on all of this, right? And so like there's that, and then like this one I have like maxed out, right? I've gotten 5 of these. This is actually very easy to get 5 of, to be fair, but so it, every once in a while I'll get an explosion when I kill something, and by every once in a while I mean like every time I kill something, and it will do triple the damage. And it will have that in a 5-meter radius, which you can probably tell is pretty dope. And if we look at the build, yeah, I've got this almost completely fully built, and 600k DPS almost. I'm flexing on you. Like I've got like the second part of this battle pass. I'm like 60 on, so I got like another one of those, and I like get a little rubber ducky, I guess. So like let's just get that, all these, get that, and I can go all the way up to here, right? And so I need 1, 2. So yeah, I need like 2 more, right? Also, yeah, like when you get to level 96, you can get one of those. I got like those two. So yeah, let's we actually need to go here. I need to get my gun out storage. Like, here we go, right? I'm going to enhance this other gun I have, unique ability. Also, like, yeah, there's a premium shop now. For every weekend, I can kind of like farm up like additional like character slots and things. It's very dope, right? I can open up this thing, and I want to take this out temporarily, and we're going to enhance its ability. Oh, wow. So we're going to take the level 100, and we're going to take the level 1, right? And we are going, I fucking need money. Yeah. But like, see, these are what's going to add, like, change. So you're going to last longer, you're going to need less stacks, and you're going to have like a better, like a crit rate per stacks on like your energy grenade, and like more electric resistance like per stack is like decreased from enemies per stack as well, which is pretty dope. So yeah, I am, I'm doing pretty good. At like just like saying, right? So I'm wondering, right? Who is the real gooner?
The most important things on the battlefield.
I don't know about you, but I got the gooner, and I farmed this shit, right? I put time and effort into these ass cheeks. I spent time getting this voluptuous booty. You probably don't even like actually like play this game. I can probably tell you that. Yeah, this is like a fucking like hot ass fucking bitch too. You don't see her ass right now, but like you can tell like she's cooking something. And it's obviously regular, like not old get play, because the old ones are basically, like I said, take away all the clothes. So like this is Freyna normally, which is you can tell why I said she's hotter. She's got that like Stormfront from the boys look too, on the face, and then like on the arm she's got these little like these toxin claws for her gloves, and then like these little like bits and bobs on her arms. It just like it's way hotter in my opinion, and I think like anyone like who actually has common sense's opinion. Also, like this looks like it's a like a hot woman. I'm just gonna say this looks like a hot woman I would actually want to fuck. This looks like a slut during Halloween. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this looks like someone I would like you would see get raped in like a movie in Halloween. That's what that looks like. She looks like the chick who would get raped, and then like the guy, like the even though she was already a victim, like then this, like the killer will, because she also had premarital sex, even though it was rape. Apparently, like the killer doesn't care. Like one of those like really like mean-spirited horror movies. Also, like yeah, Sharon, you know, boobs, booty, right? And she goes invisible, so you don't actually see it very long. But still, you know, she's got some nice hips, nice butt, you know. Also, she's got that hairstyle that he doesn't like, so maybe that's what it is. He's gonna hate it because she has dreads, because of or braids. I mean, not dreads, but like he's gonna hate her because she has braids, because that's apparently his argument. Women with braids are bad looking, or maybe it's like the cheekbones. Let me see if I like, you know. Let me go back to.
What do you get
like,
when you
think
mix
it's like,
water?
Oh, my beloved.
It's like, yeah, Freyna, Freyna has cheeks, right?
Do as I say.
And
if you want
you
to
can kind of
live.
see, like, it's a little more solid there. What, is she a man? Is she a man because she's got bones in her body? You know, she has less fat in her cheeks than Glay, who's a much older woman, and therefore, you know, has much more softened features because of that as well.
Your mom
right?
will save
so
you
she
no matter
has more body fat on her face because, you know, when she got older, she like had like less ability to retain like a lot of her bone structure visible on the outside.
What do you get when you
Or
mix
like Valby,
water?
who's just like looks like she's like 7. But yeah, like Freyna like is who like I want, you know, like a woman.
Do as I say.
Like Valby looks cute. You know,
What do you
I
get
like I
when
could
you
like I
mix
wouldn't date
water
Valby, but
and
like you know I definitely give her some cotton candy. You know, like yeah, like not candy, cotton candy, like some candy corn. You know, like I give her some like sweets, right? On Halloween. This is also another one, you know. This is also another of my type of woman. Bunny honestly does not even look like a villain. Maybe it's like I don't see her face, to be fair, because you don't. But this just doesn't look appealing to me. We have Kyle, you know.
With my strength,
gonna
I will
rape
pull
the house.
everything towards me.
Not really,
Even
but,
the
like, yeah, this is
final
Kyle.
victim.
Very like badass looking there. We have Enzo.
The most important things
like,
on the
he just-
battlefield.
Like silly, but like, dude, also Matrix fan service right there. See, this is the thing. I know what fan service is.
Supplies
That's
and
Matrix
support,
fan service
naturally.
right there. The pull out like an arsenal out of thin air, and it zooms in past you like it's a locker room. That's Matrix fan service. That happened in the first Matrix movie. That's how you know what the fan service is, right?
So,
Blair,
what's my
the
role?
homosexual.
Cook or arsonist?
Like, you know, okay, well, actually I ruined it. It's Blair the flaming homosexual. And you're supposed to say it before the fire powers come out, like right before. I ruined that one, I will say that. But yeah, I have a pretty good, like, you know, amount of characters in this game. I'm missing Lepic and his ult, Ajax and his ult, Jaber, ult Viesa, Eugen, Isomo, Luna. I'm about to get Haley. I'm about to get Ultimate Valby. I'm still farming for ult Freyna. I think I put a little more effort into it though. And ult Glay I have nowhere near. I have plenty. Like I can get Eugen probably like tonight though. Honestly, I've got 3 parts for him. And then Luna I need to start farming for too. So like Luna and ult Glay. Like Luna and ult Glay.
So, what's
I don't really have like anything for.
Are you excited to be here at my show?
Also, what I want to know is like people like
Hope you
gonna
all
be
enjoy
like,
it
oh,
and have
yeah."
fun.
And I'm like, this is literally just like Tracer. Like people are like, yeah, it's not literally like it's literally Tracer. She's got the lesbian haircut that every lesbian has. That's like not butch, right? I think that just goes like enough. She's got a little zippy attitude, sort of like Tracer, like the Ellen DeGeneres attitude and haircut, basically. That's my Tracer. Like, if they look and act like Ellen DeGeneres, they're Tracer. That's how it is. It's either that or Ellen DeGeneres. I don't really think that's a compliment. I think Tracer is a compliment. Ellen DeGeneres is absolutely not one. Haley, yeah. Like, Haley is gonna be dope, because she's got a fucking mega bazooka. Like, this is like her ult skill. Like, bam, bitch. Like, let's see, like, the stats. Ooh, 3,400% skill power. That's actually kind of high, you know? And you have 4 times. Oh, baby. It increases by half your firearm attack, I believe. Like, I think that's... Oh, no, base damage is the same as your equipped weapon. So it multiplies that by the skill power, and then multiplies it again by 50%. Or maybe it's
Target
50%
confirmed.
first, I don't know. And then it, gives you 4 of them. And if you attack a weak, you get some MP recovery. So you recover nearly half of what this ability cost by just hitting every shot on a weak point. So that's kind of dope. And you got a 90-second cooldown, I guess. Oh no, 30-second cooldown, which isn't even a high cooldown. What the fuck? Like, what? Like, that's nothing. Like, honestly, that's not. Like, let me see, like, Ult Lepic, because Ult Lepic's got to have like a massive cooldown in his. Yeah, see, this is what I was expecting, like 65 seconds. Like I always say it, right? Enza, right? He's like his like his doesn't even like do anywhere near as much as some of these characters. 90-second cooldown, right? I like his thing is dope, but it does nothing. So like it's like they're talking about like damage. You do this for like better weapon stats, really. Like the perfect support is what you activate it for. And I got Glyce. I got to like figure out what she does. Let's see,
Hold on a little longer.
Rocket launcher, right?
Your mom will save you no matter what.
So yeah, there's that, and then we have like a friend. Oh, Frenzied is her 1. Oh. Well, that's gonna be cool. Yeah, she's like the explosive wizard, basically. See, that's gonna be kind of dope. Does she have any like other things like that like benefit like my guns, or is it literally just frenzied? Yeah, it's actually literally just frenzied. Oh wow. Okay. Like this will benefit like the massacre obviously too, but I don't know. I was expecting more than I got. Well. Yeah, but anyway, like I'm gonna like start building here too. Let's see like a good build in here. So obviously, you know, she's got a material one of these that I gotta put on. I need to actually farm one of those, but let's like go here. So first off, what's this one do? Oh yeah, okay. So I don't really care too much about that one, but let's see here. So we got singular, dimension, singular, in dimension, and oh, this one doesn't actually have one, I guess. Sometimes the passive like has its own like thing too. Anyway, we're gonna go like with ultimate first, so we can get this. Put that right there. Give me like some more of those, yeah. Yeah. So let's see here. I'm probably just gonna want like high frenzy. So let's see here. Well, obviously health, yeah. Good health. Oh, HP, right? HP. I don't know why I have to type HP for that. But yeah. All right, HP. Yeah, there we go. We also probably, I don't know, will that work? I don't know. This will work though. Yeah, we definitely want more duration. Right, let's see what your like cooldowns are too. That's gonna be another thing. Well, apparently the cooldowns aren't that much. Well, except for increased sensory. Yeah, the increased sensory is like a pretty steep cooldown. And it doesn't really last that long, so you're going to need at least a bit of cooldown reduction for that one to be up all the time. Let's see, non-attribute, non-attribute, focus on non-attribute. Yeah, I'll just do this one. Alright. And then focus on singular. There we go. Let's get those on. Oh, also, yeah, we got the Transcendence. Let's see here. So, using firearm. Ooh. Okay. There's that. I also have, of course, a thing, so I'm going to put that on her right away. Because I farmed a bunch of these as well. Yeah, I farmed a lot of the shit. This guy doesn't know like how to actually game. Like, he'd probably pay all of this stuff. I'm playing for it. I actually like to play my games, you know, not just fap them. Just saying. I'll do both, but like, you know, I'm gonna play it first, then fap, you know. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. Towards that. It's not really any like damage, is there? Right? Yeah. Like except for like maybe this one, there's not really any damage skills, so. Like because that's like recovering HP. So yeah, nimble fingers, yeah. Put that one out. So yeah, so this one will decrease the cooldown on that one, which puts it on like most of the duration, I guess. I don't know. And this one, yeah, like, yeah, see now it's like 20 seconds to like put this on. Yeah, when in frenzied, we get maximized lethality, which, like, you know, is basically like while frenzied, you have infinite ammo. And it lasts 5 seconds, right? Which you might see, oh, 5 seconds, like, you know, that's a lot, but it really isn't because, you know, yeah, but you also have, like a good way to say it, you also have to remember, like, that, you know, that's like a quarter of the time it's up, with infinite ammo. So, like early on, that's pretty dope, right? And yeah, we can also just like cool down, right? I think these are also decreasing the cooldown by like 12%. And we can also, yeah, do this one. Actually, let's do put that one here, I guess, for right now. Like a focus. Yeah, there we go. We'll just put this one on for right now, right? And so now, 0.2, but we also have, yeah. Oh, see, like just having that on, put it down here, right? Which I think is, very much like we have infinite ammo, right? Like, hey, it's not lasting the entirety of the time. But remember, I haven't put on a single duration mod yet, right? In fact, let me actually, I have put on one, but like duration, right? I think if I put skill duration on instead, right, of that one, right? What'll happen is, yeah, just like, put those two on, right? And yeah, infinite ammo. Infinite ammo. Infinite ammo. Like, just straight off the bat. I have infinite ammo. Once I get to level 5. So, yeah. I'm a G. The guy I always shitting on is not. Because I actually play games and get good stuff in them. I'm just saying, you know. Unfortunately, this will not work for that, though. It'll work for this, though, and I think, like, this one, yeah. I don't really care too much about those ones, from the looks of it. And, yeah, Predator Instinct, give me more firearm attack. So, like, this one, like, basically, like, the longer I'm in Frenzied, the more, like, stuff, I guess, yeah. So, you have, for the first second, you get a 15% attack increase. And then for the second, you get a 21% damage increase, right? I think if we take this off, right, it's going to be a... Oh, no, wait. Yeah, it's 15 the whole time. Okay. Now, to be fair, you know, that also saves me 16, so I can put on health again, because you need health as her HP. I mean, like, you need HP and you also need defense, like, just to, like, really build her, right? So yeah, like, this is gonna be, my health is only 4,000, which I definitely want to fix. So let's see, where's, like, my things? So Slayer, this one, yeah, okay, yeah, probably, like, get that up. Let's see here, Annihilation, this one, yeah, Annihilation. Yeah, Supernova Memory is probably, like, it's probably gonna be, like, the best I'm gonna get for defense, though. But let's see here, like, we need HP, not shield. Yeah, so shield. Yeah, max HP there. That's Slayer, and Supernova. And fortunately, we don't have, like, a good one for that. But let's see, like, that one now. Yeah, 6,000 and 11,000 defense. Okay, cool. Cool. Except we don't really want that one. Let's see here. Recover. Oh, well, that might be good. There we go. Right now, like, let's, yeah, 7,000 health. Alright, okay. Yeah, it's been a bit, so I need to actually, like, get more, like, gear and stuff. But hey, look, I'm just saying, I'm flexing, you know, flexing my, like, I'm not even, like, that deep into the game, but I'm still, like, better off than he is in the game. I bet you, you know. I've gotten to, like, Frostwalker on hard as well. So yeah. Anyway, I'm done shitting on that guy. I'm gonna go play first Descendant and actually have fun and not complain about woke nonsense that you see on Twitter all day like a fucking brain dead loser. So my next video is gonna be on this, and you can tell that unlike that guy, I am actually gonna have fun with my life and not waste my brain cells on Twitter drama, like, for too long.